Okay, so for my project, I did something called Create a Monster, and I used a bunch of things for this project. I used like dictionaries, list, functions, turtle. So I'm going to go through it. So here I imported turtle, and then here I'm setting the background image and the name for the screen. And then here I had a dictionary, so I have two dictionaries. My original one is for options, so that's like the primary options, and then I have a second dictionary for extras. So my original options are body, and then like within that I have like the index of each option, the name, and then the file that it actually like connects to. And I drew all of these images within like Photoshop, and they all have like transparent backgrounds so they could upload to Turtle. Ooh, I got a bunch up. So when I started writing, I realized like one thing I did a couple times was pasting the image. So I just wrote a function. So this is like after you get the shape, after you get the file for the shape, you add the shape to the turtle shapes, and then you actually stamp it. And then so down here I have, this is for the loop for the bodies, the eyes, and the mouth. So this is where like you originally design your basic monster. So here we can run my code. Let's clear that. Technological issues. Okay, so here's what pops up when I run my code. I get this screen. Let me like slide this over. There we go. So you can like see it better. So this is the screen pops up. That's like what we did earlier. It's named space. You can, that's basically all we got going for us. So originally when it comes up, you're going to choose a body for your monster. So I'm going to say I want a cloudy body. Oh, look at that. My monster eyes, we're going to say we want, let's go simple eyes. Our mouth, let's say we want a vampire mouth. And then do we want to add any extras to our monster? Let's say no this time. And then it just exits like that, and that's all you have. If you run it again, we can do it again. We can do a leggy monster as the body. We can do, it's going to prompt you again. Let's say it's not correct. So if I choose like 7, it's going to prompt you again. So we're going to say we want dizzy monster eyes. And then for the mouth, let's say we just want a tongue. Do we want to add any extras monster? Let's do, yeah. So let's add some horns. So we have some horns on our monster. But let's actually say we don't like it. Do we want to add another extra? Let's do a cat this time. Yeah, let's keep the cat. Let's do some blush. Blush. And then do I want to keep your extra? Invalid option. It's going to just keep reprompting you. I did a lot of input validation throughout all of this, so really no matter what you input, it'll just keep reprompting until you eventually get it right. Do you want to keep your extra? Let's say yes. Do you want to add more extras? Let's say that we do want the horns. We can add the horns again, and let's keep it. And then after that, it cuts off immediately. So if we go look at the code for that, so here it is. For option and option keys, where are we? Okay, so it's really going to print out, welcome to create a monster, as you see at the beginning. So this is the loop for the eyes, mouth, and body. The extras are a separate loop, as you can see later on. So here we had some input validation. So while the input is nothing, it's just going to keep looping. So it's going to print out choose monster, and then it's going to print out the key. I found out this is like an easier way to like edit strings per se, so I don't have to do like choose monster string comma or parenthesis comma, or you know what I mean. It's just an easier way to edit them. And so for type in options, option, so option, sub option, it's going to print the index of the key, so it's going to print like this number. Where am I? And then it's going to print the name. And then here it's going to ask for input, and then the input's you're going to set it to index. So you can use that later on. But the input's like, it's going to select the number. And then this up here is what's like verifying your input. So if you put in like 12, that's not a number. It's going to, or if you put like ABC, like that's just going to keep reprompting, select the number. And so here we have type index is equal to index, and then we're going to add the shape. And then here again, like if it's invalid. So this is where, you add the shape to like your turtle. And then here, if it says nothing, it's going to say invalid monster number if it can't find that index in the dictionary. And then here's the function we wrote earlier to like stamp the image. And then down here, it's going to prompt the user. So you've moved on from this original section without the extras, right? You're going to, I just realized, oh, you can't see my cursor. Oh, well. Here we have more, so this is another like input validation. So it says like, while it's nothing, it's going to prompt you, do you want to add more extras, yes or no? If it's not yes and it's not no, it's going to print invalid option and it's going to set it to equal. So it's just going to keep going through and through and through till you type yes or no. While it is yes, you're going to go through here. If no, it's just going to leave. So while it's yes, you're going to add shape to add. So this is more prepping for input validation. So print, please choose your monsters extra. And this is like what we did up here earlier. It's pulling the index number and then the name, and then it's prompting you. And then this is where it's looking for the key in the dictionary. And then if you can't find it, if the shape to add is still nothing, it's going to say invalid and it's going to prompt you again. So it like loops and loops and loops while it's looking. If it does find the shape, then it comes down here back to our function, and then it's going to stamp the image. And it's also going to assign it to stamp ID because for the extras, you can decide whether or not you like it. So, sorry. So like extra is equal to nothing. It's very similar to what we did earlier, more input validation. If you don't like your extra, it's going to clear the stamp, but the turtle is still the shape of like the cat per se. So even if you were to get rid of it, you could still see a cat there. So you hide the turtle until it like stamps again. So if you say no, then it's just going to hide forever. But if you say yes, it's going to loop again. And when you choose your another extra, it'll pop up again. So that's why you could like re-add the cat. You re-stamp it basically. So I had to look this up because I wasn't really familiar with it. But basically, I wanted to make it so like after you chose an extra, you couldn't choose it again. Like you couldn't choose the horns 3 times because you were looping back through. So this basically just like takes the key from the dictionary. And then down here is just more input validation. So this creates an array of keys and then you count the length. So this is for extras. So while it's greater than 0, it's going to keep re-prompting you, do you want to add more extras? And then here's more input validation here for the yes or no. And if it's no, you're just going to exit. And then if it ends up 0, like you saw how we put the horns, blush, and cat, it just exited. It says, do you want to keep your extra? And then we said